Hello, hello. Hey now, you're listening to COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky, on WLXU FM 93.9, Lexington Community Radio in beautiful, beautiful downtown Lexington, Kentucky. And I'm Jeff, and wait a minute, I'm here by myself. Matt is not here. He is supposedly listening on the radio. He's going to call in any minute now or be here any minute, or I don't know what he's doing. He's about to text me right now. He says I sound good. So let's get started on talking about beer. And we have really exciting news. You can actually call us, although I still am not sure I understand how to use the phone. I think I do. The number is 859-721-5690. You can rush to the phone right now to make a phone call if you want and talk about all things beer. And when Matt gets here, we've got lots of great things to talk about, including the Funky Farmhouse Fest that happened yesterday at Ethereal Brewing. Talk a little about maybe homerism, my favorite topic. I'd love to talk about what it means to be a homer in the beer world. And I get to do this if I have my computer turned on, which I don't. I get to do this when Matt's not here.
You were shot in 3B. 3 beers and it looks good, eh?
I get to play the soundboard because Matt's not here to tell me not to play the soundboard, and I don't even have the Howard Stern soundboard set up. So normally when we start the show, we would talk about we talk about what are we drinking. And what have I been drinking? Well, I've been drinking a lot of beer lately. I think it's been... Problems on my Facebook right now, so you're going to hear all the beeping because Matt's messaging me to say no sound bites. No, so here's the thing, man. I've been drinking... Let's see, what day is today? Today is the 26th. And that means that for the last few days, let's go back all the way to Friday. I think I have tried 43 new beers since Friday. That's not bad. It's not bad. That's not really a mathematician, but that sounds something like 80 beers a day. So I'm keeping healthy there. Some really nice beers. You know, there's the Lagunitas Fusion 40. There's a lot of Lagunitas Fusions, and I can't say how many I've had. I've not had all 40, but this one was number 40, and Matt stopped texting me. And this one was number 40. And it was a really lovely IPA, I think. Yeah, Imperial IPA. Beautiful citrus flavors. Also the Green Flash Nugget Single Hot Pale Ale. Oh, that was just gorgeous. Beautiful. I tell you where I got them, but I think I'll let you figure it out. There is a website somewhere you can figure out where all the beers are in town. I think it's called, what is it called? I don't know. Lex Beer Scene. And so if you are listening, and you should be, you know that this Friday, September 30th, is the day, the event, the spectacular you have been waiting for the last, I don't know how many months. It is.
So you're looking at me? Yeah, because she thought you're some kind of freak. Now, come on.
It is craft writing. Craft writing will be on Friday in the Taylor 158 Auditorium next to the parking garage on Limestone at the University of Kentucky campus. Craft Writing is the event to attend in Kentucky. It is the only event I can think of that features the writing and the craft beer industry, and we've got a great lineup. It is free. It's free. If you haven't registered, you can still register at craftwriting.as.uky.edu. And oh my gosh, the speakers are going to blow your mind. From Heather Vandenagel, who's a great journalist, John Hall, editor of All About Beer magazine, Joe Tucker, who runs Rate Beer, where Matt has an account, and he's rated a few beers, Jeremy Danner, who runs the social media and is also a brewer at Boulevard Brewing, Julia Hertz from the Brewers Association, who runs craftbeer.com, and Jeppe Jarnet Björkso, whose name I cannot pronounce, but you know him as Evil Twin, one of the great gypsy brewers who has just opened, or just going to open next year in New York City, his own brewery, so I guess he won't be a gypsy anymore. But here we go. Our man Matt is here. He's putting on his headphones.
What's up?
Never mind, I'll do it myself. Never mind.
You went straight with the sound bites. I knew you would. I was listening on the radio. I was like, don't do the sound bites. Don't do the sound bites. And there was a sound bite. I was like,
and the sad thing is there's no video today.
Yeah, well.
We're not going to have any video for this.
Yeah, I'll have to get set up in a second here. Yeah, man, there's like a huge...
What's going on with you, man? Were you at a one of those houses of ill repute or something? Or what were you doing?
No, it was a house of good repute. No, man, it's a stupid huge wreck on the interstate. I was like... After about 20 minutes, I went 2 miles, and I was just like punching the steering
bodies
wheel and cursing. Bodies?
No bodies.
I didn't see any. I didn't even get all the way to the end before I just found like the first exit I could get off on. So But yeah, I was listening to you on the radio, and I was like, oh, it sounds so weird when you're talking by yourself. I thought you were dying, so I had to hurry and rescue
really?
you.
Was it dying? It's weird to do a show by yourself when you're used to doing it with somebody else.
You've never actually done it before.
It's kind of like doing other things by yourself, I guess. I don't know.
Like anything else.
Like anything else that you only do by yourself.
You sounded really lonely. I felt bad.
I was very lonely. But like I said, you can call in at 859-721-5690.
We don't have any way to screen that either, do we?
No screening.
So, yeah.
Except the dump button, I think.
Yeah, just start dumping people. Well, anyway, so you're talking about what you've been drinking, and
yeah,
I didn't really hear what you got into.
Well, I started with since last Friday, I think I've been doing okay. About 43 new beers. That's not total beers. That's new beers.
Yeah.
So that's not bad that's like 38 beers a day or something like that. And
that's about average. I'd say that's about average.
And I really dug the Lagunitas Fusion 40. Is definitely up there.
I don't think I've had that one. You said that was an IPA?
Imperial, yeah.
Oh, it's a double IPA?
Yeah. So they were I guess Hopcat was doing, I don't know, maybe still doing, quote unquote, California special beers.
Okay.
And that was one of them. And so there's all these fusions, right? They're up to 40.
So, but the fusion is just like, is it like different types of hop profiles that they mashed together?
I thought it was mostly IPAs or pale ales or something like that.
Well, most of their stuff is IPAs and hoppy dank stuff anyway, so.
Right.
That's just what they're known for. So.
Anyways, I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot. I mean, I can go through a lot of stuff too, from the high notes like that to would have been low note would have been Todd, our friend Todd. How you doing? Opening very quickly and just having a very small sample of this Quaff Brothers mead.
Quaff Brothers mead?
A bottle that he had opened. I
didn't know Quaff Brothers was making mead.
Well, I guess they made a mead. And
Quaff Brothers is out of northern Kentucky. Are they technically Cincinnati or are they Newport?
I thought it was Kentucky side.
Okay. Well, either way, they're gypsies, right? They don't have their own system. They use other people's systems.
That's right.
And I didn't know they were making mead though. So, but did you say it was a coffee mead or it was a?
It was a bourbon barrel. It's called. I'll tell you what it's called. Mora.
M-O-R-A.
M-O-U-R-A.
M-O-U-R-A.
So no offense, Quaff Brothers, but just did not dig this thing.
I've had a few Quaff Brothers. I haven't really agreed with me that I didn't really enjoy. So I mean. Yeah, I guess it's not too far from what to expect, but they make some good stuff too. That I didn't get to try it, but they did a collab with Jackie O's, the full allotment, I guess is what it's called. Everybody gave that one really good reviews.
Yeah, that was good.
They liked the bourbon barrel aged one. So,
but I just saw you yesterday, and you grabbed my tuchus.
Yeah, everybody gets one. Yeah, everybody gets one butt pinch. Actually, you've got probably like 12.
It's been a while, but once that hand hit, man, I remember.
I knew you were missing it.
Stop the clock.
You'd be like, "There's Matt."
But
Matt.
Where did I know that hand anywhere?
Where did I see you at?
Well, so we were over at Ethereal Brewing for the Funky Farmhouse Fest that we had talked to Andrew Bishop about last week.
Yeah.
What are your overthoughts? Your overall thoughts.
What are your overthoughts over the all?
Your overall thoughts about the Funk
Fest.
Farmhouse.
Let's start. Why don't you tell me your thoughts? And while you're talking, I will pretend like I'm listening while I'm setting up the camera. So tell me your thoughts.
Matt is setting up the camera, so those of you at home can think this is a podcast when it is really a radio show that is recorded and then turned into a video. It's first a radio show. So I thought this was a great event. Turnout looked really good. Weather was wonderful. And you think about in Kentucky, and we'll talk a little bit, I think, today about the idea of what is the beer scene in Kentucky and where does it stand in relationship to other beer scenes, or what does it mean to really dig your own beer scene, aka be a homer. But to see at least 100, I know they sold maybe 150 tickets, but well over 100 people hanging out at Ethereal purely to enjoy quote-unquote sour saison style beers. I say quote-unquote because maybe not everything was a sour beer, not to the point where you'd walk out wanting Tums, but there was a lot of good offerings. Almost entirely, I think one was not Kentucky. That was the Tin Man offering, but everything else from Kentucky, some from Lexington. We saw 8 Ball, we saw Mash Cult, we saw what's going on there? Ethereal Zone offerings. We saw Against the Grain,
Jarfly,
Monic.
Did you say Mirror Twin?
Mirror Twin had their very first the inaugural tap offering from Mirror Twin was here at the fest.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought it was fine. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, what were some highlights for you?
Well, the one beer that I just lost it over was that Ethereal Hibiscus.
Oh yeah, you went back for like fourths and fifths
exactly
of that one. I remember that.
That is absolutely a gorgeous beer. But gorgeous looking and
It
gorgeous
is.
tasting.
It looks like Kool-Aid.
It looks like Kool-Aid, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. It tastes. I mean, it has that really floral, aromatic stuff
Yeah.
going on, and
Very
then
light,
it's
very approachable.
It's very light and very refreshing, but it's 8.1%.
Yeah, that was deceiving, and that was actually kind of nice. Yeah, it did not taste like 8%. I had never had their Dog Days sour, which I thought that was...
That's a beautiful
It was like
beer.
the second one I had, and I was like, yeah, already, kind of stole the show from me. But a lot of people who had that one, they had it on for a while. I enjoyed that one. But yeah, the Mirror Twin stuff was good.
What about Against the Grain, Herbie?
Against the Grain was surprising.
What's it called? Herbie Samplecock.
Herbie Samplecock.
Love that beer. That was great.
I kept hearing people order at the bar, and they would say the name, and they weren't sure if they were like allowed to say it.
Can I Herbie sample something?
Samplecock?
Not sure what it is.
You can say it. You can say Samplecock, but that was surprisingly good. I say surprisingly because they've had they get some hits, they get some misses.
That was a hit.
That was definitely a hit. It was really good. I actually like the Monic Sour Brown.
Yeah, I love
that was.
Did you
one
try
of my
both the
highlights.
Monics?
Yeah, I did. The lager was good. It was a little tinny for me, but it was very well received. A lot of people said they liked that
I
one.
liked both of them.
That one too, but that Sour Brown I thought was exceptional.
I liked both of them. Scott said people were walking up to him complimenting him, and he goes, "It's not me, man. It's the barrels and the critters. They do all the work.
Yeah.
I just put them in the barrels, and then they do all the work."
That's become like a pretty common outlook for people that produce this beverage we call beer lately. I've noticed a lot of people are saying like, well, we're just enjoying the byproducts of yeast. They're the ones that are making all
Yeast are magical creatures.
They are.
They can fart.
They eat sugar and they poop booze.
When they fart booze, it's something in their farts. They have the best farts ever.
best farts.
I mean, does anyone
I've never-
fart like yeast? No one. Not even me.
It's hard for me to
I'm a good
enjoy
farter.
anybody else's fart as much as I do a yeast fart. So we're turning on a lot of people to craft beer right now. I have
Talking
a
about
feeling.
farts.
Yeah, talking about eating, drinking farts.
Yeah. Wait, were you wearing those clothes yesterday?
No,
right.
I actually am sporting my Mirror Twin shirt because they're having a.
Is that are you allowed to say that on the air?
What, the Mirror Twin? Mm-hmm. Well, they're having a kind of a soft kind of.
Yeah. So the grand opening is Friday.
Yeah, the grand opening is coming up this week.
So after you go to craft writing, you go to Mirror Twins grand opening.
Yeah.
Not before. After.
And we're going to do what we need to do. This week we'll do a satellite broadcast, a show from Mirror Twin.
We need to do that.
We'll have the very first and probably only beer show in Mirror Twin history.
Until our
next one.
Until those competitors of ours over at WRFL who call themselves
I don't know what you're doing. You're trying to make up more stuff.
I'm not really
anybody.
I'm not good on my feet.
But everything that showed up at the I almost said festivals at the Funk Fest, Funky Farmhouse Fest was good, was solid.
Good and funky.
There was a couple of things. I was actually I hate to say it out loud, I was a little disappointed in the Jarfly one. It wasn't bad. It was very light.
I didn't try it yesterday, but I had it at Fest.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it at Fest.
Yeah.
Thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
I also
Blueberry.
like the blueberry
Yeah.
saison. I also I think it might be my favorite living proof yet. That Brett Pale Ale.
Yes, that was actually the Brett Pale
By
was really
Country
good
Boy.
too. But Country Boy, yeah,
Really solid.
I almost passed it up until Evan walked by and said that
Then
was a new beer.
You
Because,
felt nervous and guilty.
yeah, I felt obligated.
obligated.
No, he mentioned that it was a new beer, and I read it on there, and I assumed it was one that they had at the brewery already.
It's confusing because everything's called living proof.
Yeah.
So it's
and then
like-
they got the kind of regulator at the end there, but it's like pale, Brett Pale, Belgian
Right.
pale.
Which one am I drinking?
And I guess it was an oversight on my part. It was really good. I'm glad I got to try it.
And they can't be the same. I mean, I know that the other one, the Golden, has been on at the tap
Golden's-
room.
I
And he
think
said that's
that's
not that's like batch whatever. But the fact that you have multiple batches, how could they actually even taste the same because of the way they're done? I don't understand that part because it's all dependent on the wildness.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming he tweaks the recipe to a certain degree anyway. Are you under the assumption that a lot of it is the same that goes into it?
Can't remember them off the top of my head if it tasted the same or not. But
I know they are similar in style, but like Brett Pale, Belgian Pale, it's different strands of yeast.
the
that
Bread
they use.
Pale was my favorite of the living proofs to date.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. I've always liked their anniversary one was amazing. The barrel aged brown sour, whatever you call it.
But we don't call it a living proof, do we?
Well, they had a living proof version of it, the non-barrel aged one.
There's the non-barrel. I've had that, the wild.
But then the
red.
anniversary one
Right.
was the barrel aged version. So that's still kind of one of my favorites. But good stuff, man. Very first sour beer fest
right.
in I guess
in
Lexington.
In Lexington, not in the state, but in Lexington.
But in Lexington, I think it was successful. It's good.
Incredibly affordable.
Good turnout. Great turnout.
turnout.
I was surprised how many people actually just kind of showed up like without tickets, and either bought tickets. And I think they're doing it.
That's the way these things work. People just want to hang out and drink. Yeah. And they go, sour? I don't know what sour. Oh, I'll try it. And then next thing you know, they're like, wow, this is pretty good. You know?
Yeah. And then 17 beers later, they're passed out in an alley.
Yeah.
Over at the break room next door.
I did see a couple of people like that.
Yeah. Over in the creek, the town branch.
I wasn't sure. I poked him with a stick, and I couldn't tell if he moved,
but he grunted,
it was just the water, splashing. So then I was bored and I left, and I don't know if that guy's still there or not.
Yeah. He grunted, so I know.
He grunted? Oh, he did?
So I think he's good there. Yeah.
Did he say something like,
give me another beer? But it was very successful, very fun. Got to see a
nervous
lot of people
breakdown, eh? Me too, when he was born. Take off, you loser. You had nervous breakdown.
And then you got to loop it, of course, and then you got to stop in the middle loop.
There's a delay that's killing me here.
Yeah, that's what it is.
My timing is off, man.
Yeah, because the quality is great.
So Matt's late, and the show got off to a late. Well, we got off to the right start, I think, but we're on the good foot. And I think that was a great event, and that brings up some really interesting stuff. But see, now it's already 20 after, so do we go for a break or do we keep talking?
Yeah, let's go for a quick break.
Let's go for a quick break, and then I think that's a good lead into what I really want to talk about, spurred on by another Facebook group's post either today or yesterday about local.
Hello, welcome back to COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky. And you were listening to, I have no idea what that was.
Oh, that was William Shatner doing It Was a Very Good Year. Oh, man, that song just kills it, doesn't it? It just blows your mind.
Does that technically qualify as a song? William Shatner speaking on stage?
I think anyone who hasn't listened to the entire William Shatner oeuvre should go out tomorrow and buy as many William Shatner records as possible, because they're all like that. It's like, in Penny Lane, there is a barber.
Jeff listens to this stuff at home while he's like taking a bath. I say during the break, I'm like, how is it that you're married and not single? He goes, I'm a great lover.
I am. I am such a great lover.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so you were talking about another group where somebody was bringing up.
There's a Louisville. This is a really great conversation, I think. It took place on one of the Louisville Facebook beer pages. Do I need to name them or not?
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter anyways. And the question was asked, why is it that if you go on a lot of the boards, you'll see people talking about all kinds of beers from different states, Vermont and Maine and whatever, but you don't see people typically talking about Kentucky beer. Mm-mm. And that opens up a big debate, right? So some people are going to take the position that's not true. There's lots of great beer out there from Kentucky, and other people are like, well, because we're just not up there. We're not world class. We don't have it. And then as soon as you start defending of Kentucky beer, it's inevitable that someone's going to accuse you of being a homer.
Yeah.
And homerism meaning that you like it purely because it's local. Yeah. You're not willing to critique it.
Not because it's high quality.
Not because it's high quality. You will like anything local. If you like anything, I don't know where the homer part comes from.
I don't know.
Home, I guess.
Maybe.
Not Homer Simpson.
Maybe.
But if you only like stuff that's local and you say only good things about the local, you're a homer. And I think it's a really interesting discussion because it first is the question of what does it mean to be world class. I think that was the category used, that we don't have any world class beers from Kentucky, so therefore nobody talks about Kentucky beer.
So how do you define a beer as being world class?
So how do you define a beer that's world? What does it mean that a beer is world? Does it mean that it's only a certain style? Does it mean it's only a certain ABV? And then I think the big question is world class purely defined by its trading value?
I think that comes down to being a large part of it. I don't think that's all of it, but I think that is a huge part of it. And it's kind of sad when that's like the main factor, but it's just kind of supply and demand when it comes down to it. People want that beer that can't get that beer, and when it is harder to get, it's more highly sought after. So then it's trade value. Actually.
So then we're saying quality is based purely on scarcity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If it's not available, then it's no good.
I agree. I think that's a hard. No, that's not all of it either, because there's some beer that's very small batch, very hard to get. That's just complete garbage.
I've been to a lot of brew pubs that you can't buy their beer outside the brew pub. Does that mean they're world class? Another thing about the trade value, which I do think bothers me a little bit when we start to define everything purely by what people want to trade for, is that's a very finicky category.
Yeah.
And it fluctuates. So I remember when I first started trading, 80 years ago.
Back when you were 50.
Back when I was 50. A brewery that demanded a lot of attention on the boards was Captain Lawrence.
Okay.
Do you know Captain Lawrence?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people want to trade for Captain Lawrence sours and constantly in search of. I can't find a single
Nobody talks about them anymore.
single
They're
in search of New York.
Where are they? They're Pacific Northwest.
It's New York.
New York. Oh, it's New York. Okay,
It's New
I'm
York.
sorry. Okay.
And that doesn't mean that the beers aren't any good anymore.
No.
But it means the hype isn't there anymore. That people just aren't hyping that brewery the way they hype other things. So you asked today too online is why isn't anybody talking about
Double Barrel Hunapoo.
Double Barrel Hunapoo?
Yeah. There's some friends of mine had talked about that if you're in the Cigar City, the club, the El Catador, being an El Catador member, you get some bottles, and then they had a little bit extra. They're selling more bottles. I kind of had a little issue with the price, but regardless of how much it costs or how much they're marking it up, that's an extremely highly sought after beer. It was released once, 3 years ago or something like that, and it got so stupidly popular that people were paying hundreds, maybe even like thousands of dollars for one of these bottles online to get to try this
So
super
that
rare,
makes it
rare
world
beer.
class?
I don't. Well, no, and it kind of depends on your perspective. Does it make it valuable? Oh, yeah, definitely. Does it make it the best beer ever? Not necessarily. It is an extremely good beer,
Right.
just like all these other beers that are really hard to get. There are some really good beers out there that are very easy to get that you could probably put it in the same category, honestly. I think a good example of a brewery that makes really good beers that are not hard to get, so people don't clamor for them, is Stone.
Stone, sure.
They distribute everywhere, and their Imperial Russian Stout is, in my opinion, should be top 5 as far as standards for that style of beer. Just like not the barrel aged one, just the regular Imperial Russian Stout, which you
can buy.
They transpose the Imperial and the Russian. Either way, that stuff is amazing, and it's on the shelf everywhere, so nobody talks about it. But it's anybody that's had it, you can't deny that it's not a phenomenal beverage, But you put that side by side, some other person that makes a Russian Imperial Stout from another brewery that maybe had 100 bottles released.
Topping, I don't know actually how the exact category are, but if it's barreled or whatever, but Topping Goliath Assassin.
Yeah, like Assassin, for example. Yeah.
So is it a 12-ounce bottle, 375 milliliter bottle?
Actually, I've never had Assassin.
Well, either have I, and I may never have Assassin.
I think it's a 22-ounce bottle though.
No, I think it's a small bottle.
The Kentucky.
Maybe it's in
Brunch
Kentucky.
Down
Oh,
is
maybe that's
12
one thing.
ounce, yeah.
Okay,
now
so
that one's
Kentucky
barrel
Brunch.
aged. That's
okay.
kind
So you
of
got barrel aged.
Yeah.
That's world class, but how do I know it's world class? I can't drink it. It's too rare. It's too difficult to obtain, and then in the scarcity, it's contagious. That scarcity is very contagious because the minute that something seems scarce or hard to get, whether it's an individual, a human being, like when you want to date someone, or drugs, or beer, or then it's somehow valuable.
It becomes a lot more desirable.
Of course, and then I have to have that because I can't have that.
And what's that? That's like a psychological thing. It's
totally
like you can't have this, therefore I want it more.
Yeah,
and
I'll pay you $1,000 for a 12-ounce bottle, or whatever, or the fact that for years this Cantillon story is told that way. That for years distributors could not sell Cantillon in the United States.
Yeah,
nobody wanted it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's somebody
now. Yeah,
some group of people are.
I mean, it's a little complicated there because tastes more aligned. They evolved and they aligned. And people started understanding who didn't understand for a long time what the beer was. But then scarcity also hit, and now it's the secondary market and all that stuff for those beers are incredible.
Yeah, it ramps. It really does. It's like. You start here, and it's like this stuff is a quote-unquote shelf turd. It sits there. I remember walking into a Shenanigans and buying just multiple bottles of Cantillon just sitting on the shelf. But then people start to appreciate it, maybe, or more people start to purchase it. But the supply doesn't change; it doesn't fluctuate. So then it starts to fall off the shelves, and then it's like, oh, that was here before.
We could buy.
It's not there now. I bet you somebody else, or people are starting to decide that it's good. You see it in another place, you pick it up there, and then all of a sudden it starts to dwindle down, and then it's just like a correlation. Then all of a sudden everybody wants it even more because they know they can't get it.
We could buy it in Missouri at the Wine and Cheese Place or at Friar Tuck's or in those places. I could buy Cantillon, and I used to balk because I go, oh my god, $20! I don't know if I want to pay $20. I mean, I could buy some other stuff here.
Yeah,
but so
now
in this
retailers
case,
are selling that kind of beer online for I would know we're not supposed to say price, but like 3-4 times that.
Oh, actually, I didn't say $20. Sorry, But in this case, class or value or world class or whatever is also determined not by the quality. It's just determined by desire. Mm-hmm. That a lot of people desire something and there's not enough to meet that desire, then suddenly it's high quality.
Yeah.
which is a little bit BS. I mean, that's not exactly
I
how
agree.
quality is determined. The same thing with the, when people look at the list and they say, oh, well, it's not on the BA.
The top 200,
Top
250.
50, top 100, but that's aggregation. I mean, that's a totally different concept of quality. That's just aggregating people's tastes.
Yeah.
That people gave it a high score because and some people we know, look, it's just like as a teacher, as a professor, as a doctor, I will tell you
Dr. Facebook.
that this is kind of how teaching evaluations work, is that there's bias, right? So if you're a woman, you're going to get a lower teaching evaluation sometimes because you're a woman. If you're short, like I don't know who, there might be height bias, right?
Okay.
But the same thing with beer ratings is that there's a bias against beers often that are not put in a barrel and soured or super, super hoppy.
Yeah.
All the other beers, miles and lagers.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to see them on the BA Top 50.
No.
Even if they're really good, high-quality beers.
Well, yeah. I mean, you see your occasional Weihenstephaner, which
Right.
is a, great
Right. The
classic lager.
classic, yeah.
Exactly right. But, I mean, even with beers like that, I was at... Remember, we talked about going to St. Louis, and we opened, like, almost every single beer from the top 250 list.
Right.
And we brought the Weihenstephaner, the lager, which is a great beer. But it's like, nobody wants it. You know what I mean?
Dude, I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's your barrel aged
everybody's jumping around
Abraxas?
for everything else? Yeah, and it's kind of sad when you see it, in real life and actually happening. It's like, you got everything. What do you want? Well, this is a fantastic beer.
Right.
So are a lot of these, but you can see it's very specific. That one is being omitted just because it is so widely and readily available.
So, I mean, what's worse? Being a homer, and talk about the benefits of being a homer in the sense of supporting local, going from a situation where you had 0 breweries to a place now where you've got in 4 years where you've got a number of tap rooms, number of breweries,
Yeah.
or being a hypester and all you do is just hype stuff and go for the latest hyped product.
It's kind of like almost like a different version of the same thing, maybe.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just about perspective. I get called a homer all the time by my friends because I support local beer, and I do that very specifically because I'm born and raised in Central Kentucky. I love this place, and I like beer, and I want to see beer succeed in Lexington and everywhere in Kentucky. So I support local beer. That being said, we do make a lot of crap. I'll be the first to admit that. We make some good stuff. We made some bad stuff. There's some stuff I've had that I've enjoyed, other people haven't enjoyed. But having that kind of, being typecast as a homer, if somebody else doesn't enjoy something I enjoy, then all of a sudden it's I'm being a homer.
But
You know
I
what
can't name a single brewery that I have only had beers from that blew my mind.
No.
I mean, there's always something to go, well, even Russian River, I'm sure Hill Farmstead, there's things I've had and been like, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Not that great. So I would rather actually be a homer. I mean, being a homer doesn't mean you can't admit that there aren't, that there's things you don't like. Yeah, there's things I don't like. But that's true for everything. That's true for every brewery. And I would rather support the local scene. I was going to say something a second ago and I forgot. But
like maybe I should be more vocal when there's something that I don't like.
I guess, but what does it matter to me at this moment when the local industry is only 4 years old and some of these places are really, really infant.
And that's why I try
to say out loud, that place sucks.
Exactly. And I try to be tactful.
Right.
And I guess maybe that's the difference.
Right.
If somebody makes something that's that I don't like, I don't want to just go and bash them and just give them a bad rep just because I think it's really bad and they could have just dumped the whole thing out. But instead I try to be constructive.
And there's been something, I'm not going to say what it is, there was something on tap at a brewery that a lot of friends of mine like and I like. It may still be on, I don't know, that I thought was pretty...
What one? Which one?
I don't want to say out loud, but I think it was pretty bad. And,
I want to know now.
And I know some folks who really liked this beer and thought it was really great. So, me...
And that's the good thing. We all have opinions.
It tasted like it had been unintentionally soured a little bit.
Yeah.
And then someone else goes by and says, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's the homer? I mean, I don't know. I mean, am I the homer here? Because I'm telling you I don't like this, but you're telling me you like this. So how do you know that that all these things just aren't based on just finicky...
Well, it's all
taste.
We all have different palates, and our opinions do differ. And I think earlier it just occurred to me the jar fly example. That's a perfect example. I didn't really like that beer.
And I thought it was decent.
I didn't think it was bad. I just thought it was borderline bland. It was very light. A lot of people like that style, like that taste, want the really light, crispy, kind of lightly fruity.
I walked around yesterday telling anybody who wanted to listen, holy mackerel, I love this ethereal hibiscus. And some people were like,
you told me like 4 times. I was like, quit telling me.
I was in love. And some people were like, yeah, that's pretty good. Some people were like, it was all right. I mean, it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
So
that was kind of my opinion,
right.
honestly. I was like, yeah, it was okay.
I'm like, you're stupid.
You're dumb.
You're dumb.
Phone's going off here, so I don't
Somebody
know.
calling you?
No, you can.
Is that mom?
When you say somebody is a homer nowadays, I think it kind of gets construed one way as somebody that just like, it's like you said, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's like, oh, you think all local beer is great, even though a lot of it's crap. And I think most people that are considered that are just in support of the community, and we try to be constructive when something is not good, rather than just like tear them down. But I want to see us succeed. I don't think we do. I really don't think we make anything world class right now.
I just don't like the idea that world class is purely defined by whether a bunch of nerds are trading tons of stuff where, trading is ruined in some ways by all this stuff. You can't go on a board these days and go, hey, I just want to do who wants to do local for local kind of thing, because everyone wants the rarest, super rarest thing. And even when I try to do sometimes local for local, the first thing people ask me is, can you get me some Dark Lord? Can you get me... Dude,
whatever.
I'm looking for something else, man.
I don't even trade anymore because of that. I'm more interested in trying just shelf stuff from different places that I've never heard of. But what are you looking at over there?
Well, I was gonna play some sounds, but they weren't.
Oh God! I'm gonna smash your computer over your face in a second. No more sound bites.
My guitar wants.
Do you think we make anything world class at Lexington?
We're talking about quality, right? We're talking about something that I think that can compete.
There's 2 ways you can look at it. There's quality, which I guess can kind of go towards people that actually like judge and rate and critique, and then there's the whole
I'm gonna go consumer quality. I'm not a judge.
Yeah.
So I can't go by someone who can taste things in a certain way and talk about them. As a consumer, for the consumer quality, I think there are beers made in Kentucky that are up there.
Like
and
what?
Some people are going to disagree with me. Well, first of all, let's just go straight to the one that most people love. We'll say
hibiscus.
Everybody loves this beer. This is the great. I would put that up there. I think that actually for all the saisons I've had, and I drink a lot of saisons, I would put that up there. I would put up the Baba Yaga too. I think that was a great beer. I put up Snake Cake.
Okay.
I put Bo and Luke on there. I know people are going to disagree with Bo and Luke.
Yeah.
I still think Bo and Luke's a quality. I think there's there's that other one they did too. Conan the Sabrarian.
Salabrarian.
I think that's
against the grain.
Nobody talks about that beer. I think that's a solid beer. 70K is a solid beer.
Yeah.
I think they are. Well, considering some of the other things I've had, I would put them up there.
So quality wise, you think those are?
I think those are quality wise, and I think I think Snake Cake is up there. I think BA Quad from West 6 is up there.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's a really good beer. I'm not going to leave. I think the first batch of Blue Stallions resting Bitterface.
Oh, the RBF.
The very first batch they did that was super high in ABV.
I never had that first one.
Was insanely up there as world class triple imperial, whatever you want to call it. IPA.
They re-released that one.
They have.
Recently.
I like the second batch too.
It's different though.
It's a little lower in ABV and lacks some of that intensity the first one had.
Okay.
But I think that is up there. Yeah, I would put that up there. I think if you did a taste test with some of these beers and their similar styles from other states, pick whatever, you're going to find that in a lot of cases they're going to win.
I think it's easier when it comes to hoppy beers because I think hoppy beers they're a little bit.
We're not IPA world class necessarily.
I don't think so, but I think as far as the style goes, when it comes to strictly hoppy beers, people really. There's not a whole lot of bastardization of IPAs. You see coffee IPAs and stuff like that, but they're almost on the outskirts. They're just more experimental. People really only focus on regular IPA. So I think it's easier to compete in that category because it's like, what's your hop profile and how many hops are you going to add?
Although nobody here does a northeastern hazy malt water.
This is my opinion, but I think in my opinion, I think very fresh Hell or Heaven is right
it's up there. It's up there. I agree. I agree with you.
It's got that real kind of like almost like a citrus rind kind of like freshness.
It's excellent.
Yeah. There's some other stuff I could kind of say. I still don't think we're producing that great a quality beer, but I mean, you also got to look at places like the Northeast in Vermont that has more breweries per capita than anywhere else. Right. But there's only like a few 100,000 people that even live in that area. So
just take 39 breweries or so that are in Vermont. Still more than Kentucky.
That's like 10 times more that are in Kentucky. So I mean, just by chance, someone's going to start making something good.
They are making good beers, I think, and they're making.
Or something. I guess great. I'm sorry, great.
But But you're right. I mean, there's just not enough breweries, and also against the grain, at 5 years old. So before Against the Grain, there was Cumberland, which is really tiny. Mm-hmm. There was New Albanian, which has kind of been going off the map since Roger left, and there was Brownings, which they took over that space for Brownings. There wasn't really much else going on in the state when Against the Grain took over the Browning space and set up shop there.
Yeah.
A lot has happened in 5 years.
Yeah.
So things, I mean, you think about how things go they go even quicker. Then think a year or two from now, there's going to be a lot more.
Well, I mean, but when you pack as many breweries in a small place like you do someplace in the Northeast, I think it actually fosters this mentality
of having to excel at what you do. They kind of, in a sense, probably subconsciously keep each other accountable on their own quality. If so-and-so next to you is doing this, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's really good. So-and-so to the left is doing something else that's really good. You're going to try to keep up, or you're going to get squeezed out.
That's right.
So when you got 39 breweries in a state half the size of Kentucky, then obviously people are going to start, really paying attention. And then you, as, someone that manufactures that product, it's going to really have to start paying attention. All of a sudden, we got, 5 breweries, 6 breweries? I think they're doing great. I think we got a way to go.
Well, let's take a short break on WLXU 93.9, Lexington Community Radio. You're listening to COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beers of Kentucky.
Welcome back to COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky. My name is Matt, and I'm actually here.
Oh, and I'm Jeff, and I'm not here.
I was late today.
I'm Jeff, and you're not.
We've been talking about being homers, which I'm accused of often, just because I love our state.
That's right.
I love our beer.
Kentucky kicks ass.
Even though we make some crappy beers.
Can I say ass on the radio?
I don't know. Put your finger on that dump button. I guess it's been said.
Well, Kentucky. It's a saying. Kentucky. They wanted it to be the slogan of the entire state. How
Kentucky
could that be
kicks
bad?
Ass, yeah. Well, but you were talking about there's something that was recalled.
Did you read about the Alltech recall?
Yes, I didn't go into real detail.
It was both bourbon barrel and pumpkin. Pumpkin's gone. You can't get any pumpkin now. If you really love Alltech pumpkin. Something about the color and...
They said the color and the quality.
Quality?
That's what I read.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It wasn't orange?
I don't know. It wasn't orange enough.
Blue?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't ship blue pumpkin beer. What's going on here?
I really don't care for a lot of the beer anyway. Am I allowed to say that as a homer? Can I say I don't care for all
There you go.
Beer?
See, we're not true homers.
Nobody considers
There's actually too much pumpkin beer. And I was reading an article the other day that breweries are making less pumpkin this year because it didn't sell last year.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't stop.
I'm okay with that.
50 cases of Schlafly pumpkin I've seen in the stores. But
and I think Schlafly pumpkin's a good beer.
It's good.
I'm a little burned out on it. I've had quite a bit of it. I still think it's a quality.
But a lot of brewers are saying, listen, we didn't sell this stuff last year. We're just not going to do any pumpkin or much pumpkin at all this year.
And you know what? I think that's the industry's fault. I think they blew it up. They overhyped pumpkin beer.
Hype.
Yeah.
Hype. You all hype everything to the point that there was so much pumpkin beer.
Yeah. You say you all, you're right in the thick of it.
Oh, I'm right there. No, I am actually right there. Because I'm the worst. We've talked probably about FOMO too. Not only am I a homer, I'm a FOMO.
FOMO. F-O-M-O. The fear of missing out.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah.
I miss that. I fear of missing out. You're a foamer? I'm a foamer.
Well, there has been a lot of pumpkin beer, and there's been a lot of backlash because there's been so much pumpkin beer. I still like it as a style, but I like every style of beer.
Pumpkin beer is really good when they put it in a barrel.
Yeah.
Taste that. Sorry, because you get that bourbony, boozy mixing.
It does complement
like the Hardywood one.
Yeah.
That's a ginger, the bourbon ginger. But I've had some pretty good, I think, bourbon. Not the Alltech, but some other stuff. When it comes to pumpkin beer,
there's some really bad ones out there. There's some really good ones too. The best one I think I've ever had that I can recall was from Lakewood. Mm-hmm. I think they're out of New York. Lakewood. They made a rum barrel aged pumpkin lager, Imperial lager. It's like a 25th anniversary beer. I don't know if they recreated it, but somebody sent it to me from up north, and I thought it was going to be garbage. I'm like, a pumpkin lager. That sounds.
Oh, it's pumpkin lager.
It was a pumpkin lager. God, it was amazing. Yeah, it was the best pumpkin beer I think I've ever had.
And this Saturday at the I forget what they call it, the Autumn Bazaar or something like that, where they do all the craft stuff at Country Boy. Mm-hmm. They are re-releasing for maybe the third time Bumpkin, which is their barrel aged pumpkin.
Yeah, is it barrel aged?
Oh, it's not barrel aged.
I don't think it is.
It's their pumpkin, but there's something about that pumpkin. It's a stout, maybe a pumpkin stout. It's not just a pumpkin beer.
Maybe.
There's something else about pumpkin. I forget now.
Anyway, I just heard about that.
I got the internet here.
The intranet, the interwebs.
Have you ever been on the internet?
No, I've never. Never heard of it. Actually, our show is based on the internet. We are a podcast.
Look at that Siri.
Lest you forget.
We're a podcast.
We are a video
Not
podcast.
a podcast.
So
We're
yeah, we got
live.
pumpkin beers coming out. Whatever. Some of them are good.
Well,
some
there
of
is
them are
barrel
garbage.
aged pumpkin, and then there's bumpkin. Yeah. Because
So what else
bumpkin is not a barrel aged beer.
Oh, so yeah, if you wanted Alltech pumpkin.
So
barrels.
you're out of luck. Yeah, there's not going to be any Alltech pumpkin this year. Bourbon Barrel, I guess, will come back. They said they make so much of it.
Whatever.
But
There was no
So-
specific information. I saw
Not enough
news
caramel
article. Yeah,
color.
a news article. Somebody posted a review saying this pumpkin ale is not as good as I remember.
you
And
don't hear a lot about beer recall.
I don't really
that's for
remember
sure.
it being good.
Not too
ever,
many
but-
beers are recalled.
Well, maybe some more beers should be
Some
recalled.
beers are recalled.
The whole Goose
Yeah.
Island fiasco with the Bourbon County.
Oh, well, there was a recall, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mine were fine.
It happens.
I think I still have one left.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem.
Is there anything else
'Cause
coming
I'm
up?
coming up. You know that song by Paul McCartney? Coming up. No. Lots of things coming. Oh, well, it is coming up. There's going to be, I think, Blue Stein's Oktoberfest is going on.
Okay.
I think it's ongoing.
As we speak.
People are in their Lederhosen, and you
Lederhosen.
can buy a liter of beer, which is a lot of beer to drink in one shot. I
Yeah.
guess you can drink. How much is a liter?
How
many-
I think it's like 4 gallons.
How many bottles is that?
Like 80.
80 bottles. You can drink 80 bottles of beer
Yeah.
in one giant glass.
Welcome to the math portion of COCBLOK. Yeah.
We're really good at
Everything's served in boots. DOS boots. The bizarre thing, the Country Boy, I had actually never heard about that. That's it's pretty new though.
I
right?
went last year. It was in the warehouse, and the cool thing is I forget the name of the vendor. There's a vendor, and I got a Country Boy shirt this way too, who will make shirts on the spot.
Okay.
They've got this really
Like a
cool.
press?
Yeah, it's like this really cool silk screen press. You just say, oh, I want that qual. I want like with the baseball sleeves or just a T-shirt, and I want that design. And they've got this mobile silk screen thing there,
Yeah.
and they do it right on the spot. It's awesome.
It's called the Autumn Bazaar, is that right?
It may be called the autumn.
And
I mean,
it's-
we're prepared as usual for the show.
I know. Is it a weekly thing?
That's just Saturday.
Okay, just Saturday.
By the way, did you go last Saturday? They had the barrel aged milk, chocolate milk.
Oh, and then the peanut butter
And the
stout.
peanut butters
Did you
came
try
by?
those?
Yeah, it was my second time on the peanut butter.
How
and
was
then
it?
It was good this time too. And then there was the Raz.
You're
stout.
such a homer.
I know. I think I just want a little. I mean, I love those beers, but I want a little more body to them.
Yeah.
A little more stout body, I would say.
Yeah,
would be my only
I
critique.
agree.
That would be my constructive
I can see that.
criticism.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy. I did like the barrel aged chocolate milk. I like the chocolate milk too, the regular one.
Okay, and then we got the Mirror Twin grand opening
Mirror
Friday.
Twin grand opening Friday. Looks like there's going to be 10 Mirror Twins on tap and 10 guests.
Okay, cool. Are they
And-
doing the actual mirror beers?
As far as I understand, there is my secret inside sources of someone who's
Okay.
on the inside
Yeah.
feeding me information. Is
By on the inside, you mean you walk up to the
there's 2 mirrored
knock on the door, be like, "Hey, what do you got?"
No, I have inside sources. There's 2 mirrored IPAs, and then there was 2 mirrored something or others.
Yeah.
So that's
exciting.
half of the information you need to know.
Okay.
Yeah, so 4 of those beers will be mirrored, and I thought is the pumpkin. They did do a pumpkin. I don't know if it's on or not.
I don't know.
I
Let's
think
go find out.
Let's go find out.
All right, let's go stop by there.
Are
And find
we
out.
ready to?
Yeah,
we've said a
now we're
lot.
gonna
Maybe too much. This has been the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky.